Tinei, oh my word. Tinei is a phenomenal woman who has faced so many challenges in life. That's the moment that God reached out to me. I can confidently start saying that I have had a conversation with God.
With God. Give me the breakdown of everything that broke you mentally, physically, emotionally, you name it.
I'm hearing him, or you are in denial of what you are being told. That was me.
But he's still speaking.
He spoke to me in a dream.
Right at the podcast Being Men, as I learn to be a man. Understanding the time, lessons and patience inquired to be a 10. A series of compass insights of the journey for a different turn. Being men, where rivers of the mind flow to give a damn. A movement with river flows, so I be a bailer I can. All stones are turned, all souls affirmed. Right at the podcast Being Men, all stones are turned, all souls affirmed. Welcome to Being Men.
Hello there and welcome to another one. I trust everyone is doing good. You know, when I'm loud like this is because the person that is next to me is someone that has been dreading to get here. One, procrastination is a real thing. I've learned it from this person. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's welcome Tinei. How are you, Mzaya?
I'm good, thank
Let
you.
me just put a little bit of Shona in there. Mzaya, just say.
Did it Sekuru Makadi.
The ones that know this, they know what it means. So
Yes,
absolutely
definitely.
amazing. Welcome to the M.A.N podcast.
Finally, I'm here.
Finally, that took us like, jeez.
I don't know. Since I heard about the podcast, I have been procrastinating. That is very true. But
Why do people procrastinate?
it's fear. I think it's fear. It's something that I've never done and I never thought of doing it. But then at the same time, you're being pushed to like, no, share your story, share your story.
Exactly.
But then you're like, nah, what if I can't? What if I say the wrong things? Do you understand?
It's a podcast. It's not a radio channel that is going to be live. That whatever that you say is going to be unscripted.
Yeah, no, I finally gathered the courage to do this. And I'm like, let me do this. Maybe it will help one or two or shed some light to a few people.
Thank you, Mzaya, for pushing it. You don't get it, forget about it. Anyway, welcome to the M.A.N podcast. If you're here for the first time, thank you. Consider subscribing. That way, that's how this story is going to get to the next person and the next person. And the banner down here is for you to advertise your business. So make use of it. All right, cool. Anyway, the nitty-gritties are done, and Tinei is here. Procrastination, fear, and not knowing or you starting something new. Is it something that you always been, I don't want to start something new because you're so comfortable in where you are?
Comfort zone. I'm that type of person, if I'm in my comfort zone, I don't want to be disturbed. So gearing up for change is difficult for me.
Yeah.
I don't want to lie.
I think for everyone, yeah.
For me, it's the hardest. Just change of environment, or even in another person, like change of behavior in a person. If I'm used to you doing this certain way, so the moment you change it, it kind of gives me that.
Oh, those
it frightens
vibes, run
me.
away.
Yes, then I
kind of
step
vibes.
back.
Yeah.
Then I step back and I allow you to do whatever it is that you want to do.
Yeah.
But then with regards to sharing my story, it's a case of people have only seen one side of it, and then I was never outspoken about it. I was always quiet about it and let people think whatever they want to think.
Yeah.
But in this journey, I think I've reached a healing point whereby I'm now able to be comfortable in sharing my story without having to break down about it or getting all emotional about it.
That's amazing how one can get to speak about something without tearing down. I think that's important. And every person gets to a point in their mental health whereby you're like, no, now I'm ready to empower the next person.
Yes.
And like you said, when we go through stuff, it's not because of us. It is because of someone else that is going to learn from the story.
Yes.
But before we jump into it, we've got a few icebreaker questions to make you comfortable.
Oh, okay.
So don't even take it too serious, because the last guy that I had here, after asking you a question, is like, where's that question going? Like, chill, bro, chill. This is this is a podcast, and the reason why I created the podcast was to empower people. Actually, it started off as empowering men, because there was a time that men were committing suicide because of mental health and depression and whatnot. So I was like, I'm going to start a platform where men can speak. It was purely because of men. So it's men, matured, available, nature, but it was for men, the gender. Okay. Then a few episodes in, only you women were consuming the content. And it was like, how is it you bring content for men, yet women consume it? I think 86% of the consumers were women. So I was like, how does this work? So I went back to prayer and I'm like, no, Lord, what must I do? Because at the end of the day, we've got an issue with men. Men are coming in broken societies. We are raising children with broken hearts and whatnot. And because of that, our kids are growing up to be the same as we are. Yes, but it's not happening, Lord. What do I do? Then God says, why should motivation be gender specific? So ouch.
Yes.
So from there, we came back, okay, fine. Then we had ladies that were coming in, breast cancer, mental health, bipolar disorder. The lady that I interviewed with bipolar, I had no clue what bipolar was. I always knew it with, when you have a girlfriend that is crazy and smashes your car and you're like, she's got bipolar. Yes. But it made me realize that there is more to mental health than meets the eye. That's when women started coming on. And then I get a message and say, Sekuru, can you send me the location? I'm coming. I'm like, yeah, finally. Anyway, let's get back into the icebreaker questions. Before I'm going crazy. The game that we're going to play first is Would You Rather? Okay. So the first question is, would you rather never get stuck in traffic again or never get hungry?
Never get hungry?
You love your food.
I love my meals. I can sit in traffic. I can tolerate traffic, but hunger, not so.
Unfortunately, yeah. Would you rather live on the beach or a cabin in the woods for a year?
Cabin in the woods. I am a forest baby. I love nature. I love nature.
Wow. You're one of those that, take away the network and the reception. I just want to live in the woods.
Yes, the peace and quiet, the rain, the waterfalls. Oh, that's you. That's me.
That's you. Would you rather be feared by all or loved by all?
Loved.
You don't want to be feared, huh? You don't want to be the kind of person that you walk in and everyone goes...
No, I don't want to be the type of person that people cringe when I walk in. Instead, they must see that I exude love. Love comes out of me. Wow. And I'm able to give it. The minute I enter the room, everybody feels, or whatever mood that they were in, it must automatically change. Wow. Wow. That's me.
Intellectual. Exude. Did you hear that word? Exude love. Yeah. Would you rather be the only child or have 10 siblings?
10 siblings. I am amongst 4 siblings and then another extra.
Yeah.
So I think that whole vibe, I've never been lonely. As an only child, I feel that you've got no one to speak with, no one to share with, no one to basically understand you sometimes. As a child, you communicate differently to your parents. So when you've got another sibling, you might be able to share with them, you understand? Yeah. So the more, the merrier.
Yeah. It's amazing. I was actually speaking to a client of mine and we're speaking about having kids. And he says, I did not have an idea how having 2 kids could be this difficult. Because he grew up being the only child. And actually he was the second child, but there's an age gap between him and the sister, which was 11 years. So he says when he was 10 years old, she was 20. She's already juggling and whatnot. So he always kind of felt like, what, I don't have friends. And my friends are my parents. And you can only do as much with your parents.
Yes, you can only
so he says, no, I made it a point that in my marriage I'm going to have 2 children. But yes, it's tough. So you're saying being the only child, there's a lot of loneliness in there. And
I feel
you can't share.
Yeah.
The last one is, would you rather smell like onion or garlic for the rest of your life?
Okay, just because I have got only 2 options, I'm going to pick onion. But I never want to smell like either.
Yeah, but for the sake of the game, you have to give us.
Onion. I would rather smell like an onion. Yeah.
Yeah, garlic can be something else. And they say garlic is just healthy for you and all that, but yucks.
The smell of garlic coming off from somebody, it's not that good.
Nah. You know, I'm like, oh, Tinei is here.
You can smell it.
Can smell it. She's here. She is here. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, those are the icebreaker questions. And the whole idea of the icebreaker questions is to break the ice in the room.
Okay.
Because a lot of guests will come in and they're so scared. Like you were saying, do I prep? Do I do this? What do I say? When do I say it? And what not? And here you are, you're laughing your way out.
I thought we were going to have like a rehearsal.
Never. In your wildest of dreams.
I thought there's gonna be like a rehearsal, and then you're gonna cue me and say, "This is when
you say this."
Yes, at this moment. Yes,
Keep quiet.
Go.
Yeah. Now we start. Nah. We always say a podcast is there to inspire the next person, and it's a conversation.
Okay.
So whatever that comes out of this is not something that you're like, okay, I'm gonna say this, I'm gonna talk about this and that. So. Okay. There we have it. Anyway, Tinei.
Yes.
The one question that I always ask, or that my team asks me when I find a guest is, who is that? And I understand that that question is so difficult for people to answer it because I think I've interviewed quite a number of people and I always get the different answer every time. But I have to ask it. Who is Tinei?
Oh my gosh. All right. Tinei. Oh my word. Tinei is a phenomenal woman who has faced so many challenges in life, but refused to be down forever or for a long time. Tinei is still growing in Christ. She's got a journey ahead of her that only God can see her through. So, Tinei is still to be defined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That means Tinei is still work in progress.
Yes, she's still a work in progress. Yeah.
Wow. You say you still have a journey, and Tinei is a phenomenal woman. At what point in your life, in this journey, did it dawn on you that, geez, I'm phenomenal? Because there are certain challenges that one befalls that makes them sort of look down on themselves or speak ill of themselves or lose confidence of themselves. When you speak of the word phenomenal, I see confidence. At what point did that click?
I would say it clicked, I think, in 2002. I had gone through like a lot of experiences in life, a lot of heartbreaks, a lot of challenges. And I was at the bottom, at the lowest of the pit.
Yeah.
And you know what? It's true what they say when they say God reaches out to the ones that are at their lowest. And that's the moment that God reached out to me. I can confidently start saying that I have had a conversation with God. I have had a one-on-one whereby it's a back and forth. It's like a conversation that has assured me. He has shown me things that I never thought could have happened for me. But in a matter of 3 months, it happened. He spoke to me in dreams, in visions, and half the things that I dreamt in the year of 2021 and 2022, they have come to pass. Wow. So therefore, I know that I am made for greatness. Wow. There are still things that I have had dreams about that I'm waiting to achieve because He has done it. He has shown me a glimpse. He has shown me that this is what I've shown you and it's going to happen. So in Him just showing me, the more that I have dreamt, that just gives me even more confidence that, you know what, he's still at work. He's got something greater for me.
Listen to that. She's about to preach. She's preaching right now. She is. She's going. Must we open our Bibles and get our offering in, because Tinei is here and Tinei is gonna woo us.
Yes.
So you speak about the stuff that you've dreamt over the past year. Let's trace back to Tinei as a young lady, or Tinei as a student. What is it that befalled you that made you come to this realization that I can actually have a one-on-one with God? Because that's not stuff that you just wake up and you're like, oh, I spoke to God. Yeah, bro, God, we good, so you're gonna sort me out with 1, 2, and 3. At what point I want to get back to that journey where a lot happened, a lot broke you, for you to get to this point where you're like, not, I am having a one-on-one conversation with God. Give me the breakdown of everything that broke you, mentally, physically, emotionally, you name it. Yeah.
We are going deeper.
Going deeper, Papa.
All right. Okay. I got married at a very young age. I met the father of my kids at the age of 16, if I'm not mistaken. Then at the age of 18, I fell pregnant with my first son. And then 17 years that we had been together. I thought things were going okay. But then one day he just woke up a changed man. And already, like, something had happened. That was 2021. That was the time that COVID started, I think. Yes. My mom got very sick. And we all thought it was COVID. And that's when God started working in my life. So a friend of mine was sharing her stories, and she told me about a prayer group that her and her siblings had created. And in my family, at which we didn't have one. So I thought, let me create a prayer group. Midnight, we'll pray. And I think that was the platform that God created just to start drawing me closer to him. So every day we would start off by praying at 12 o'clock. And then that's the journey that led me to now being prayerful, like every single day. And then in January, I received news that the man that I thought was my husband at the time had actually gone and married somewhere else. We were married traditionally, but then he went and he paid bride price for somebody else. And he did this in the month of December. And I found out about this in January. And mind you now, I'm 3 kids in, and I'm not working. I'm a housewife. And when this news hit me, I collapsed. Like, I felt like my whole world had just crushed. I was down to nothing. The first thing that came into my mind, I'm like, what am I going to do? Where am I going to go? These kids, how am I going to feed them? And then in that moment, that's the first interaction that I had with God. He spoke to me through somebody that I had known in 2010. Her name is Andiswa. She was a colleague of mine. And I think it was on the 4th of January. She randomly just sends me a message. And it was a Bible verse, 1 King verse 17. Elijah, go into the wilderness.
Okay.
So when I read that, for me, it was speaking to my situation. Okay, right now, my husband is now my ex-husband, and he's now going to be with somebody else. I cannot stay here. I will never be a second to somebody or to anybody. Yeah. So I have to go. So when that verse came, it was speaking to me with, God is saying to me, go into the wilderness. You're going into the unknown. I will
When
provide.
literally it was the unknown.
It was the unknown.
We had no clue.
Like 3 kids. Going back to my mom's house was not an option for me. I felt like I'm a grown woman.
Yeah.
I shouldn't.
And you don't want to be a burden as well.
Don't want to be a burden.
Yeah.
Like, I shouldn't. That was not an option. But, like, God did as he said. God did as he did for Elijah, for me.
Yeah.
He sent the ravens to feed me.
You. Yeah.
Up to today, I can honestly stand and say the ravens are still feeding me, even though I am standing on my feet. I'm not yet stable, but I'm standing.
Yeah, but remember, life is a journey. You never get to the destination.
Yes. So that's how it. That's basically it. That's how I came.
Did you guys have issues, marital issues, leading up to this word? Or before you answer that, you said someone told you, and you collapsed. Did you believe what they said initially? Because there is a thing of hearing that, no, your wife is married to someone else, and you're like, nah, never. I'm going to call them. Oh, I'm going to find out for myself. Yet you said you heard about this, and boom, man down. So that means the person that gave you this news, you really believed that they had your best interest at heart. Or not just conveying bad news. You know, there are certain people in our lives that when you hear them speak, you know that they're going to speak about something wrong. Or whenever they come, they've got bad news with them.
Okay.
Did you believe the person that told you this?
Yes, they had proof.
Ah. Okay.
They had pictures.
My soul. So they were not just telling you.
They were not just telling me. They had pictures, and the dates that they were telling me, they went hand in hand with the events that were unfolding.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there's a thing that I ignored. When God speaks to you, it's a matter of are you listening? Are you hearing him? Or you are in denial of what you are being told. That was me.
But he's still speaking.
He spoke to me in a dream prior to any of this happening. I kept on dreaming. But because us black people, I don't know what it is, interpreting our dreams. No, it's true.
Us black people, yeah.
Interpreting our dreams, we always want clarity. Yeah. You always want, you pray, you say, God, give me a sign. And then he gives you a sign. You're like, no, make it clear. You understand?
It can't get clearer than that. Yeah.
You understand? Yeah. That's what happened with me. I got the signs. I only understood them when I stood back and watched everything unfolding. And then I was like, but I was warned about this. That's what this dream meant. That's what that meant. There were a lot of events that led to it. I cannot say we had marital issues. Can I be honest?
That's why you're here.
I think from the month of June up until December, when he went and he married somebody else, that was the happiest time of my life in my marriage.
Because he wasn't there?
No. He was there. He was doing everything right.
Wow. Okay.
You understand? My complaints were less. Wow. Of course, we have fights.
Every couple will.
You have fights, you have disagreements and stuff like that.
But for the most part, you was
like from that period up until to the day that he actually paid the bride price to somebody, we were at our happiest.
Jeez.
You understand?
So you can't say he moved away because he was unhappy because of 1, 2, and 3. He did everything right, yet...
Up to today, I don't think I can answer if I ever did anything wrong because I haven't gotten the clarity on that, at which I'm no longer looking for clarity.
But then that hurts you. I think that's part of the process of you healing as well, because if you're going to heal, at least tell me what I did wrong. It's like when I go to an interview and for a job. Yes, I don't mind not getting the job, but if you're just going to be quiet and ignore me and you're not telling me what I did wrong, then it's going to be tough for me to move on to the next interview.
Yes.
Do you think that because of that, it's still going to be an ongoing thing whereby, what is it that I did wrong? Did I not respect you? Did I not love you enough? I gave you children? Do you still have those kind of questions? Because there's someone that's watching this and thinking, my husband is leaving or my wife is leaving, but I don't know why. At least tell me that, no, I didn't like 1, 2, and 3, hence I went.
It's questions that I did have for quite a while. I had them, I kept blaming myself. I'm like, maybe I was too hard. Maybe I needed to be a little bit more lenient. Maybe I shouldn't have spoken like this to him and all that stuff. There was a period whereby you blame yourself, but it's all part of the healing journey. And when you listen to God, He will tell you. The boldest thing that I think I have ever done was after these events happened, God spoke to me and said, Tinei, you were not perfect. You played your part.
No one is perfect, but you did your best. Yeah.
Yes, you played your part. There were things that you did that also contributed to the situation that you ended up in, but you are not at fault. And in order for myself to actually tell myself, to convince myself that I've actually healed, I called him and I told him that I would like to apologize. I apologized to him.
Wow, look at you, being a bigger person.
It didn't happen overnight.
Wow. Ladies, there is the perfect one right there. She called and apologized. Yeah.
It wasn't the easiest thing. It's like swallowing that.
And it's holding you here.
But the moment that I did that, I felt free. I felt like something left me. Because the longer you keep on holding to, what did I do? What was it? You are never able to move on. You are constantly now picking up whatever hurt you there and you're putting it onto the next. Or you are completely not able to move on. And any little thing will trigger you. Seeing pictures, seeing statuses, do you understand? They will trigger you and you go back to that.
Start again.
Yes.
Yeah.
So for me, the moment that I did that and I apologized to him, I accepted an apology that I never got from him.
What was his response when you apologized? The mere fact that you called. You know what? You take your phone. There is Tinei. I'm just trying to get through your mind. You take your phone, and the phone is ringing. And you've got an opportunity to stop and hang up.
Hang up, yeah.
Yet
That's true.
you carried on. What was going through your mind, having the decency or the guts to say, I'm calling to apologize? Because that takes a bigger person.
It does.
It's not everyone that can apologize.
It does. The spirit of procrastinating did catch me. I was told to do this a long time ago, but then I took about a month.
Yeah. I don't see you know what? When you are hearing someone's story, you're picturing yourself in their shoes. It's not happening. And as a lady as well, to call and say, I want to apologize for the part that I played. Because a lot of women look at themselves as victims.
Yes.
Now, when marriages break or when relationships break, the woman is never at fault. The woman always sees themselves as, no, I was a saint. They victimized me. That's why there's a lot of GBV as well, because when a woman beats the man, the society is going to say, what did you do to do that?
Yes,
right?
yes.
But when a woman is beaten, the moment she just screams, he raped me or he beat me or whatever, society automatically believes
her,
that.
yeah.
So I'm trying to get to a point whereby, how did you come to that sense of saying, okay, fine, I'm calling. And I'm going to apologize, because that takes a bigger person. And someone that's listening to this will be like going, I will never apologize for what they did to me because they broke my marriage or they broke the relationship or betrayed me or whatever the case may be. For you to be that kind of person, is it someone that you spoke to? Is it counseling? Is it advice? Obviously, it's advice. But was it advice from a professional or was it advice from a family member who advised you enough to get such brains into you?
It was God.
Wow.
When all of this went down to the point whereby I now had to move out of the house that I was sharing with him, and I needed to be on my own.
Yeah.
I was isolated. Me and my kids were isolated. The people that we thought or that we know as family, they just went
They left.
their own way.
They just disappeared.
Yes, they disappeared.
Yeah.
And I'm that type of person. I can't say it's pride, but I will only reach out if I am at my very lowest. But as long as we are still okay,
Fine.
I'm not going to
We got
reach.
food.
Yes, as long as we've got food. Yes.
Yeah.
Anything else, I'm not going to reach out. So I was basically in isolation. The only person that I had was a very good friend of mine. And she was also going through a similar thing. So we had each other, and then we had God.
Wow.
I didn't go to any counseling. It was Bible, 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 Bible.
Wow.
And during that period, honestly, God sent a lot of people into my life that were just there for scripture, for word, for affirmation, for confirmations. The number of groups that I joined that were just prayer groups, those saved me. Those helped me a lot. Some up to today, I carry on with them, and they still help me. There's still always a message for me.
Yeah.
So honestly, I can't say I had somebody to counsel me. If I'm to open my Bible app, I think that year I read the Bible like nobody's business.
Wow.
Like nobody's business. And every scripture that I read, it related
To your situation.
to my situation. Yeah. And one of the people that helped me out the most was Pastor Mike Todd.
Oh, Mikey!
He did a series on forgiveness.
Okay.
I think it's about 12 or 15 episodes.
Wow.
I followed all of them and I did them. You know, there's so much power in just writing things down. There is so much power that we underestimated in just writing them down. And I think for me to gather the courage to actually now call him and say, I apologize, it was because I had written it down. I had written what I thought or what I saw as those were my faults in the marriage or what might have contributed to the situation that we got ourselves to. So I wrote those down. And as I wrote those down, and the moment that he answered the call, it was as if I'm not the one speaking.
Wow.
It was
God took over.
Yes, he took over. Yeah. It was seamless. And I felt nothing. But I was just like, let me do this. Let's get it over and done with. His response was like, I've been waiting for this. He was actually...
Wow.
I don't know what word to use for his behavior back to me over the phone, but then anyway, to me it was...
Because my next question was going to be, when he saw your call, was expecting a fight from you?
No, not at all.
Wow. For you to say, he even said he was elated that...
Yes,
it's a relief.
Yes, for him it was like, I've been waiting for this for the longest time. And I'm like, oh, okay. Anyways, I played my part. I wasn't innocent, so here it is. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And then he was just like, okay, cool.
But then in every breakup, every person plays a part. So if the ex-partner or the partner comes to you and says they are sorry, surely that's your opportunity to then say, I'm also sorry. Because at the end of the day, you've got 3 kids and you are not working. And your whole life, you have devoted to your marriage, and rightfully so. Because the Bible says a woman builds. You build your home. So you've built, all your plans are based on building that home. Mm-hmm. Then all of a sudden, boom, it's split up. It's taken away from you. Mm-hmm. So surely it was his opportunity to say, I'm sorry too. Mm-hmm. Because the Bible says, what God has put together, let no man bring aside. So even the individuals in the particular marriage cannot bring asunder. They cannot separate. Mm-hmm. So for you to then say he never got he didn't realize that was his opportunity to also say, I'm sorry. Mm-hmm. So fine, the call finishes. Mm-hmm. What's going through Tinei's mind? Are you feeling stupid? Are you feeling relieved? Are you feeling... Did I just do that?
I was like that.
Did I?
I was like, wow, did I just do that? And the response.
How dare he?
Do you understand?
Exactly. What does he get the nerve?
But the response. But then I was like, nope, I'm the bigger person here. So hats off to you, Tinei.
Well done, Tinei.
You understand? Well. Yeah. It was a moment of, I never thought I would ever do this, because I did play victim for a long time. I was the one who was left. I was the one who's raising the kids. I'm the one who's doing this and this, you understand? But in that moment, I just let go of everything. The anger that I had, the bitterness that I had, the constantly asking myself, what did I do wrong? What's wrong with me? Am I not lovable? And then the question of, who's going to love me with three kids?
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
Where to from here?
Yeah.
So for me, there was just the relief of it all. The first thing I did when I had ended the conversation with him, I called my best friend. I'm like, girl,
The one that was
I
going
did
through
it. Yes.
the one that was going through nonsense. Yeah.
My girl, I did it. I just like, what? I did it.
Did it.
And then
Wow.
from there, I think that's what made him realize that Tinei is okay. Tinei is not angry anymore.
Yeah.
Tinei is fine. Like up to now, we can actually have a decent conversation with regards to the kids.
The children, yes. Yeah.
We can even joke about what we did in our past without feeling
no anger or you owe him an explanation or whatnot.
Yes.
How important is forgiveness? Because a breakup is real. Hurt, betrayal is real. And I still remember I did a video where I said you need to acknowledge your hurt. You need to acknowledge your betrayal. And when you are angry, you do certain things that you don't, they're out of character. You don't want to do them. But then, like you're saying, you got to a point where you had to forgive. And yes, it's 12 episodes in of Michael Todd's preaching. How important, in your own words, without using sophistication and exude, and how important is forgiveness for Tinei, and how important is forgiveness to the person that is watching this?
Okay, one thing you need to understand is that forgiveness is not for the next person, but it's for you. It's more important for you. I don't know if there's a picture that I've always used to circulate where a little girl is standing in front of God and she's holding on tightly to a little teddy bear. And at the back of God's hand, he's got something bigger. So it's a case of you holding on to that situation that happened to you, to that hurt, to that anger. It keeps piling within you. Yet the next person, they're moving on. Their life is going on. Yet you carry all this weight with you on a daily basis. You can't even be happy. So forgiveness is just letting go.
Yeah.
Like I'm done.
Yeah.
I don't want to feel this way anymore. I don't want to be angry. I don't want to be hurt. I don't want to be judgmental to everything that this person does or says. So forgiveness is more about yourself. It's healing yourself, letting go for yourself so that you move on.
Yeah. It's amazing how you say you got to a point where, or you went through the very point of me, until such a point where it was no longer about you. For you to pick the phone up and call to apologize, I think you're already at a point whereby Tinei was long gone. It was now selflessness. So fine, he decides to go, he's married, you have the kids. The decision to take the kids with, did you have a plan?
I didn't.
Zero.
I had no plan. But, growing up, there's a Shona saying that says, Pana maindo pana. It's sort of like...
Where the mother is,
where the mother is where the children are.
Yeah.
That's all that I had in my mind. I'm like, I'm not going anywhere without my kids. I'm not letting him take my kids to be raised by another woman.
Did you want to take the kids? Was that an option?
It wasn't an option, Isha.
Considering that you was working and you were not.
He just asked, and the kids, and I'm like,
Actually, let's hold on there. You said you got pictures, right? Where was he when the pictures were sent? Did he then come to you and say, this is what I've decided to do? Because you get the pictures and yes, it's a wedding and whatnot. But where was he in the process? Was it he comes home, then he goes to the fiancé, then comes back home after 2 days? Or how did he manage to stay under the radar from June to December for so long? Yeah. Because if you're pretending, at some point you're going to be caught. And that's the way God works. He's going to reveal it because
nothing stays
the Bible,
hidden.
exactly. And it says the devil has got power over anything that is hidden. But at some point it's going to come out. But he did it so well for the whole time. Were you guys in a kind of relationship where you can go for 2 days, or he's going out with work and whatnot, that so much so that you couldn't pick it?
Yeah, he would go out with work. His line of work sometimes required him weekends. So he'd go on a Friday or on a Thursday and then be back on a Sunday. So it will obviously be out of Joburg. And that would happen maybe almost every week or every second week. He would have a trip. That's how he managed to maintain it like that. Basically, he lived a double life because when all of this unfolded, there are things that I was even shocked. I'm like, what?
Did you do that?
He did that.
How?
When?
Wow, when? Yeah.
Like, even the funds to pay for
Exactly,
the... I'm like, where did this come from?
That's double standards, and you're thinking, where's the money coming from?
Where's this money coming from?
Yeah.
I thought we were just surviving.
Yeah.
God, we were not surviving.
We're thriving, clearly.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
So he kept it
Low key.
low key. He did, however, I discovered this like after the news broke. There were regular trips that he would always say, no, I'm in Florida, I'm in Florida, I'm in Florida. So when everything finally unfolded, that's when now I found out that she stays in Florida. So it wasn't to see a client in Florida.
It was to see
You understand?
Madam.
Yes. So that's how everything unfolded. With regards to the pictures, there's only one where he is visible. The rest is of the Bright Tree team and stuff like that. And yeah, though that's how I got to find out. It's only one, and it's not like he's looking at the camera. It's just somebody took, and you can see the half side. You're like,
that's mine.
There's nobody else.
Yes, that's mine. Let's speak about the kids. How did this affect the kids? Because all of a sudden you're waking up and Dad is not. Yes, Dad travels. That's fine. Dad comes back. But now we are moving. And a lot of times I always say this, that before you break up or before you file for that divorce, understand the impact divorce has on the children.
The kids.
The reason why is I work with a lot of kids. And I still remember a few years ago, there's a kid that I used to coach. And for the purposes of this, I won't mention his name. And I still remember he always used to come with the mom to cricket. So she drops him off, Dad picks him up. So I'm thinking, okay, mom gets out of work early, dad from work, you know how it is where extramurals parents share. So I never took to it that something was on. Then the other time he came wearing a soccer shirt, and it was a really nice shirt. And I'm like, dude, but that's a nice shirt. Where did you get that? Then he says, no, my mom's boyfriend bought it for me.
Oh, okay.
So I'm thinking, oh no. Is the mom cheating that I just unveiled something's family secrets? Because you don't know people's dynamics in marriage.
Yes, yes.
Then I'm like, hold on, what do you mean? Your mom's boyfriend? And your mom and dad married. Then says, no, my mom and dad are divorced and already was tearing. And that hurt me so much. That hit me so bad. And I'm like, dude. Now I don't know, do I just stop the conversation? Do I console the kid or what? Then I just like, no, but I'm sorry, I didn't know about that. So what I'm trying to put across is when we break up, we think that it's about me and you. But the kids are affected way deeper than we can understand. And my question to you is, where were the kids in you saying, okay, guys, we are picking ours and leaving? Where were they mentally? How did you manage it as a mom to break such bad news to your kids?
That was, for me, that was the hardest. My son at the time, my oldest son, I think he was 14. Yeah, 13, 14. Yeah. He took it the hardest. It had a big impact on him the most, because he was used to the dynamics of us being a family, us being together. I don't think now he's okay, but he has accepted it. He had episodes. He had episodes whereby he'll just get angry. He couldn't be angry at me because there I was also just fresh in the situation. I was mentally breaking down.
You're also picking up pieces.
You understand? Yeah. And then he started taking it out on his father because I think for the first year of the separation, they never got to see their dad.
Did you not want to see his children?
He wasn't available for them. Financially, he would support them, but physically, he wasn't there. So, and remember, this is the first year whereby also we are still in isolation. God has isolated us. Even their uncles were not coming around as they used to. So it felt like their dad was the centerpiece to the whole relationship with everybody. Do you understand? So now that their dad has been removed, they've got nobody. It was just me and them, me and them, me and them. So they took it very hard. He took it the hardest. My daughter has always been daddy's little girl. So that also broke her, but she's not as vocal as my first son.
Yeah.
And then my youngest, he's just too young to understand. For him, he's just like, okay, and even if you ask him, how do you feel about this? Like,
I'm okay.
It's okay. Everything is okay. Everything is okay. So it took a lot, I don't want to lie. And that's when I actually introduced prayer in my house. We would not go to bed without reading a Bible verse together and then praying together. And what I love about God is, when you ask him, one of my prayers was that, God, I don't want these children praying to you just because I'm telling them to pray to you. Yeah. Show up for them. Speak to them in their own way. Let them have their own relationship and be able to stand and say, I prayed for God. This and he did it for me. There's nobody else. So that's what started happening. My kids also started having dreams, started having visions. They grew in their prayer lives on their own. Like, there are times where I wouldn't be home and then I would know. They would just call me like, Mama, we're about to pray. And I'm like, okay, pray guys before you sleep. Or if they ended up visiting, going somewhere, they would call me and say, Mama, we're about to pray. Yeah, and then they pray. And I think that helped them a lot. My son came to me early last year and he's like to me, Mommy, I just feel the urge to fast. I'm like, oh, okay. Go ahead. Go for it. What are we? To him, I'm like, write down whatever it is that you want to fast about and I'll be there to help you. You understand? And he fasted and he prayed. And my little one, he joined in for one day.
Okay, all right. It's better than nothing.
It's better than nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, at that time, he was 9 years. Exactly. He joined in for one day. And I'm like, well done.
The mere fact that he decided, I will do it too. That's,
yes. So in his fasting, he didn't get much in his fasting. But like a month later, he broke down and he's like, Mama, I think I know why I needed to fast that time. That's when I was like,
God.
Thank you, Jesus.
Wow.
I'm like, you are revealing yourself to these kids. They are able to speak to you and you responding to them. I'm great. That's all. If I am to die today,
I've given them that.
I have given them a foundation. Yes, I have given them a foundation, a prayer foundation.
It's amazing how you say, I don't want them to pray because mom said. I don't want them to go to church because we go to church on a Sunday. And we grew up with a situation whereby On Sunday, mom will tell you, I'm locking my door.
Yes.
Everyone is going
If
to church.
you are not
exactly. And
out.
if you don't go to church, you're not getting a Sunday meal because you didn't go to church. So you end up, let me just go. You understand? Only at a later stage in life do you like, I really need a prayer life. But for you to get to a point whereby the children actually experience God for themselves, because the reason why we just move along with our parents is because we've never experienced God for ourselves. We go because they
said yes.
not because I'm praying because it's good for me. Prayer is fuel. Yes, we can be sitting here and having our beers, but when it comes to God, we need to acknowledge that God is there, and when we pray, He comes through.
Yes.
And that's a lot of things when it comes to children and drinking and whatnot. People think just because you're holding a beer in your hand, then you don't have a relationship with God. It's a relationship, and you build, you build that relationship with your children for them to know God for themselves. That to me is a takeout from this. Have a relationship with God for yourself, not because my husband said, or my wife said, or my mom said, my dad said this. Did you ever have a conversation with your kids to actually speak about what was going on, like your son and your daughter, the grown-up ones? Did you ever sit down with them as grown-ups, not because they're children, but because they need to understand that such dynamics will happen even in their lives? Have you ever sat down with them and said, this is what happened, this is what your dad did, this is what we're going to do, Did you?
Yes, I did. I set them down when obviously I had gotten to the point whereby I've healed and I'm not holding any grudges, or I don't want to talk anything bad. The assumption that most people had was when he wasn't coming for a year, they thought I'm the one who is stopping him.
Because you're trying to punish. Because a lot of times women do punish men.
But yet I wasn't doing that. It was his own choice. As a matter of fact, I kept on reaching out for the sake of my kids. Because for me, for them being broken, it's what broke me even worse. The fact that they don't have a relationship with their father. And for the past 13 years, it was every day. They wake up, Dad is there. Then all of a sudden, boom, it's pulled out, it's gone. So I felt it was unfair. So the assumption that people had about me was wrong. So when I sat down with them, it was at a point whereby I had healed and I was okay with it. And I'm like to them, and he had started coming around. And I said to them, guys, I want you to know one thing. I'm not angry at your father anymore, and I don't have a problem with this other lady anymore. If you guys tell me today that, listen, Mom, we want to go visit our dad for the weekend, I don't have a problem. I will not stop you. It will actually make me happy that you still want to continue having a relationship with your father. You understand? So they were understanding. They had always, what they actually revealed to me was that they had seen how broken I was. They didn't want to speak about their father with me. So they didn't want anything.
And it was hurting them even more. Yeah, because they love you, but they love Dad as well. So
they felt if they ever have to mention their dad, it's gonna trigger me. So it had to take me having to speak to them and telling them that, no, guys, I'm okay. I'm okay. I've truly healed and I'm okay. And then they saw it for themselves. For the first time that I actually interacted with their dad, I was just calm. It was like nothing happened. And then that's when they saw, they're like, oh, okay, so we can now start talking about even when he calls, they don't have to go in the bedrooms. Do you understand? It was now they can even
much awkwardness.
Yes. So that conversation, I think, it's what broke the ice of them feeling that they needed to choose between me and their dad.
I think that's the thing. A lot of children, they don't know how to handle this, because it's not like you go to a school that tells you that when mom and dad divorce, this is how you're gonna act, this is how you're gonna speak in front of it. So it's learning in progress, and I always say it's learning on the job. Because for you as well, how do you react when he suddenly comes to fetch the kids and he's got his wife with? Do I just say hello? Do I ignore them? Do I say, get away, you nonsense? What
do I not even go downstairs?
Do I not even go downstairs and look
just
at
send the kids.
Go, you understand? So all that is part of the process as well. And as you are saying, that when he calls, they don't have to feel awkward or they don't have to hide behind, because that's part of healing as well.
Yes, yes.
Enough to say, no, dad is calling, or mom, I'll call you back. I'm speaking to dad. And you not feeling like, oh, so you love your father more than me.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing, if, God forbid, when people separate, don't let the children take sides.
Yes.
That's one important thing, because a lot of times I've heard whereby when you start fighting, I'm taking my child, I'm taking this, and that, you understand?
Yes.
It becomes nasty. And like you're saying, the whole ordeal that you went through, it's bigger than Tinei. It's a ministry that is revealed, that God revealed through you and through your pain. And in as much as you cannot wish this on another person, but there is a bigger picture that is bigger than you. There's someone that is watching this and they're thinking, I'm going to kill myself.
It's true.
But you've got 3 children, or you've got 2 children, whatever. You've got children that are looking up to you.
Depending on
in
you.
your weakness, they still look at you and say, as long as mom is around, I'll be good. As long as dad is around, I'll be good. No matter how bad the situation may be. So take this from me, whatever nonsense that happened, it was a ministry that was unfolding. And I'm so glad that you got to a point whereby you're saying, not, I've healed. You got to a point whereby you can stop saying, they did this to me. And you got to a point whereby you're saying, I had a part to play in this whole ordeal. Tinei, this has been amazing. And what's coming to me right now is, there is no way that you can have such wisdom when it comes to such a controversial issue. It's a life dynamic that one can go to the grave with, and they're so angry. Yet here you are, you speak about it, you were not even cheered, not even once. You are still drinking your drink.
Oh, yes, I will drink.
And most importantly, you are raising beautiful kids. I met your kids a few weeks ago. I know the circumstances were not great parenting-wise, but you're doing an amazing job.
Thank you.
And a lot of times, as women, as people, we never get to a point where someone can tell you that you're doing well. And I did a video not too long ago where I said, do you remember when everyone else was saying Happy New Year? You were thinking, how do I do this? And now as I'm speaking to you, that's exactly what's coming to my mind. Because when I did the video, I was just like, oh God, you're speaking through me. So I sit down here, I record. And I was encouraging somebody, say, when New Year's Eve hit, 12 midnight hit, everyone is laughing, Happy New Year, da, 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 da. You were in 2020 going, how am I going to do this? And today you're in July 2023. And you're still going. And you're still beautiful. And you're still smiling. And you're raising amazing kids, amazing citizens that are going to be leaders in the future. So well done.
Thank you.
You're doing well. You are. A round of applause. You're doing. There is I'm looking for a word that is more than you doing amazing. If I could get that word. Give me an English word that says amazing without saying amazing. Anyway, before I let you go, Tinei, a wise woman once said, please complete that statement.
A wise woman once said, let go and let God.
Where is my book? Hey! You know what? And I know she's going to watch this. Her name is Amanda Skosana. And she wrote this. It said, let go, let God, and live free.
Oh.
And I'm going to get you a copy of this.
Oh, please.
Your own copy of this. Because she wrote poems, and it's a book of poems. And it's just like the psalm. And like you're saying, let go and let God. The wise woman said that. But for someone that is watching this, I want you to speak to them in the camera and speak from your heart based on your experience, and them crashing down right now and thinking, you know what, tomorrow I'm going to drink poison. Or I'm just going to get into my car and kill myself. And the reason why I speak about the car is a mate of mine's dad did that. We were together at cricket and everything was great. Hey, Pops, we would call him Pops. Hey, Pops, how you doing? Then 25th of December, he closed his car, and that was it. So there should be someone that is watching this and thinking, I'm done. He's not there. It may not be marital issues. It may just be life in general. And they're saying, no, if I don't hear from God in the next 2 minutes or in the next 58 minutes, I'm done. I want you to speak to them, please.
All right. What I would say is hold on. Just hold on a little while. There is no light at the end of the tunnel, but however, God is still working it out. He speaks. It might not be now, it might not be tomorrow, but the time will come. He is not silent. It might seem like he is silent, but he is not. Just give it a little time. Just hold on for a little while. It's all gonna work out for your good.
Pastor Tinei is spoken. Before I let you go, we've got another game to finish off because we spoke about
another one.
we spoke about so many touching things in here, and I loved it. If I had notes, I would be writing down the notes. But I know whenever I go back into my edit, I'm always, wow, did she say that? Did I say that? And I know when you're watching this, you're gonna be like, girl, you just say that? You're amazing. Anyway, the last game is never have I ever.
Okay.
Right. So obviously, it's either you have or you haven't.
Okay.
Right. First question: never have I ever eaten dog food.
Never.
Also, you're not the curious type. No. They say this dog food has been refined and better taste. Who tasted it?
That's for dogs, not for humans.
Okay, next one. Never have I ever laughed so hard that I rolled on the floor and I peed myself.
I have. I have.
That was so
A lot.
Okay, a lot. Okay, emphasis on a lot.
Yeah.
Number 3. Never have I ever ghosted somebody.
Oh, I have.
It's a lady's trait, ghosting.
No, you get taught to ghost.
Wow.
They ghost you first, and then you're like, okay, on the next one, I'm ghosting.
If Tinei ghosted you, sorry, bruh. Better luck next time, mate. Never have I ever shoplifted.
I haven't, but my daughter did.
What did... Okay, don't mention the shop, okay?
I won't mention the shop.
Yeah.
Okay, so she was just a little baby. I think she was like 1 year or almost 2 years. And then we had carried her on the back and we're in a shop, right? So there are these cute little bags for small girls. So she takes it and she's holding on to it. But we didn't realize that she put it at the back of me. She's at the back of me, right?
Yeah,
and her hands are loose. So she put it on the inside. And as we are walking out, the thing rings.
And you're like,
it rings. And I was there with my aunt. And it rings. And we're like, wow, what's ringing? And the security actually made us pay. And then we didn't take that bag.
Come on.
We paid for it, but
didn't take
it remained in the shop.
So that's the punishment for shoplifting.
That's the punishment that we got. And they went and they viewed the cameras and they saw with seriously it was a child.
Exactly.
It was not like we instructed her to do that.
Yeah,
do you understand?
Yeah.
So then we paid for it and then it stayed in the shop. That's the unfortunate thing about it.
Alicia, stop it. You owe us.
It was a once-off thing.
You owe us, Alicia. You do. The last one. Never have I ever ordered a salad to impress a guy. You don't strike me as that girl.
No, I did eat a lot of salad during my diet, but it was not to impress a guy. It was because of the diet that I'm going through. Yeah.
You're not that thing like, I'll have a salad, but you know that you
I
got
love
the
me
base.
my meat. I love me my meat.
Yeah.
So no salads anymore.
Never. There is proof that animals, they say cattle eat grass. And look at them. So eat your meat. Anyway, today you've been amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
This has been eye-opening, and I finally understand why you were procrastinating. So sometimes procrastinating is good. Procrastination is good because it waits for the right time. Because I believe that nothing happens by chance. And the Bible says, when the time is right, I, the Lord, will make it happen. So maybe, just maybe, had you come last month, you were never going to impact me the way you did. Maybe if you had come 2 months ago, your story was not going to speak with relevance as it did today. So thank you, and for allowing God. I think it humbles me for someone to travel so long to come and speak about their story. That to me is a plus. Just that part is a plus. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me.
How has been the podcast? How has been the interview? Did I make you feel comfortable?
Very comfortable. It was a conversation between you and me. I wanted to say, yesterday, a random coworker walks into the office, and he looks at me. My other name is Fainat, and he's like, "Sis Fainat, are you okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm okay." And he's like, "Can I just tell you a word?" And I'm like, "Okay." And he's like, "Everything happens for a reason." And I'm like, "What do you mean?"
What are you talking about? Yeah.
And then he's like to me, "Do you remember the story of Jesus when he was just about to be crucified? He was in the garden, and the soldiers came in, and all his disciples were getting geared up to fight." And he's like, no. He stopped them. He was like, "No, it's fine." But they were ready to fight. He had to be in that garden in order for him to be captured. And then he went on to go further. The cross. Jesus had to carry that cross. So there are situations, the point that he was trying to say is there are situations in life that we have to go through in order to reach the final destination. And for me, that's how I can tell God is speaking. Because
Exactly.
It's a random
that
conversation.
doesn't even know your story.
He doesn't even know my story. He doesn't even know
You're just
anything.
co-workers, yeah.
And mind you, I was still thinking about, okay, what am I going to say at this podcast?
Wow.
You see?
Wow.
And then he
God.
walks in and he says that. So for me, that's how I identify. It can be through a simple thing as a post that somebody posts, and that post feels so relevant to my situation.
Yeah.
Then for me, that's God is speaking.
Yeah. But then, in all honesty, that's how God speaks. Because there's a lot of times whereby you're going through something, or I'm going through something, then I just randomly open my Bible. And for some, it's not a strange reason. I was about to say for some weird or strange reason. You get to that scripture and it's speaking exactly to you. Sort of like you're like, God, really? Or you go onto Facebook or Instagram and the first thing that you see there is saying, I, the Lord, will make it happen. Like, oh, thank you, Lord. I hear you. Yeah, so amazing. We're going to see you again.
Yes, definitely. I'm not going to be a stranger here.
Definitely.
I'm going to be a familiar face.
Yes, be the friend of the show. So that would be amazing.
Yes.
Any last words before I take over?
All right. My daughter asked me to do this.
Oh, yeah. So you're going to go before you say it. Jeez, come on.
I'm going to what?
You were going to leave without
No,
saying
no. I was going to say it. She
Oh.
said do it at the end.
Okay.
So then this is it. Okay, so this is for my kids, Kelvin, Alicia, and Wesley. I don't know what it means, but she said I must just do it.
Okay. That one. So I have to say kwe as well.
Yes, you
Oh.
just say
Kwe.
That's it.
Awesome stuff. Thank you so much. If you're still here, you are amazing. You are brilliant. And I believe that this story has impacted you. If it didn't impact you, surely there's someone that you know that may be going through this. So by sharing, that's how that person gets to know about it. By liking, that's how YouTube pushes this to make sure that each and every person that goes onto YouTube, they bump into this. And the more people that know about this, the more people that are going to find hope. Because at the end of the day, we need to create a generation that is mentally strong. A generation and a society that is building kids that are going to grow up to be society leaders. And that's the whole point of the M.A.N podcast. If you find this relevant, please consider subscribing. If you want to support the show, the banner there is for you to advertise your product. Other than that, you can just donate something to make sure that we bring you the best. And the people that are traveling, we need to pay them for their fuel. Fuel is expensive, so let's help me help them as they say their story. Thank you so much. We'll see you guys bright and early. Tomorrow is Monday, and making sure that we do what we know best. Remember to work hard, stay safe, keep believing, and cheers for now.